Hi, my name is Raymond Shabazz, and my speech is on Harvey Milk. Harvey Milk was known as a visionary, the mayor of Castle Street, and the lion of the people. He was born May 22nd, 1930, and passed November 22nd, 1978. He was truly a visionary and a man before his time. He was an American politician and the first openly gay man to be elected into office in California. Although he became a juggernaut in gay politics, civil rights, and workers' rights, he had always not been on this path. He was not only an openly gay He was not always an openly gay man. It wasn't up until his 40s where he was poised to take a stand amidst the growing social climate against minority rights and more in specific, gay rights. Starting his life in New York, he moved from New York to Texas to California, where he found home and refuge in San Francisco's Castle District. It wasn't up until the civil injustices of this time period that he was poised to take a stand and become a vocal gay activist. Milk moved amidst a growing migration of gay men across the country to California to find refuge in San Francisco's Castro District. After World War II, a lot of gay men were expelled from the military solely based on their sexual preference. It was at this time that rather than face their relatives and family members and friends at home and in their communities, several men opted to stay in California, in San Francisco, and to restart their lives rather than face persecution. It was amidst this growing number of gay men that San Francisco became the liberal center of the country, as well as the gay center of the country. Seeing a great chance for power, and being a great orator and a great political player, Harvey Milk used San Francisco, and more specific, the Castro District's growing power as his seat of power and his stage to vocalize a lot of his different thoughts and opinions on how things should be run, or the different equalities of different minorities. It was from the Castro District that he used his unique genius and brilliance to run several times, known for his very theatrical campaigns, and eventually winning his supervisor seat in 1977. Once winning his supervisor seat in 1977, he was amidst a good group of liberal supervisors who were part of the growing movement for a greater and more ideal world. Some of the things in which he stood for, being a teacher with a major in mathematics, was a reform in education and a budgetary increase in the amount of funds that teachers and schools could have, being able to provide more books, pens, papers, computers, whatever, so that teachers had the tools to teach their students. One of the other concentrations of Harvey Milk's career was business. Being from a family that owned a business and being an owner of his own business, Harvey Milk used his position as supervisor to correct certain injustices that face small businesses or owners. Some of the things he faced were the unfair taxes that were implemented against businesses. Another thing he used his seat of power for was vocalizing some of the myths and disparities that were thought of gay men by often taking on his more conservative counterparts in public debates. Always using his wit, intelligence, and his great use of tongue, he was able to dispel and even enlighten many Americans across the country on gay rights and on the different plights of the gay community. He also was able to use his seat of power to help a lot of people, and also to help a lot of people get involved in the political process as a whole, using the youth movement, using older people who have been displaced, using blacks, Asians, or people being a Jew of Jewish faith. He used his different faith background as a way to help people. Milk was called the most famous and openly gay LGBT official ever elected in America. Some interesting facts about him are: one, he was in the military and arose all the way to the rank of lieutenant in the Navy, where he left after some of the disparities of the Cambodian War. After several fights, he grew out his hair up until when he started to run, where he cut it and decided not to attend bathhouses. He was picked on for his nose and ears and looking a little goofy. He was always known as a man's man. You couldn't tell he was gay or queer in school. A lot of people were always surprised to find out his sexual preference. His longest relationship was 7 years to a Joe Campbell. His last relationship before his assassination was to a McClellan, a much younger guy who he had got from the conservative movement. What else is interesting? He did a lot for the world. He did a lot for gay rights in a short time period. He was assassinated by a fellow supervisor named Dan White, who decided to resign after he couldn't afford to live and take care of his family off of the salary of $9,000. And once he resigned, shortly after, he decided to re-enter the fray and keep his seat. But it was once he decided to keep his seat, it was too late, and the mayor decided to elect a more liberal supervisor to join the growing liberal movement in San Francisco. It was after he had found out that he couldn't run again that he had actually assassinated Harvey Milk and the mayor of San Francisco within the office. Harvey Milk changed the world. In his short election, he brought together people of my age. He brought together people of my skin color. He brought people of my sexuality. He did a lot. He did a lot within 11 months. He helped people. He was intelligent. He had his own business. And he got people to get involved in the political process. Harvey Milk is truly a legend to me. He is truly an inspiration. And he is someone I'm truly excited to talk about. Harvey Milk is really one of the greatest men to ever live. And his death was a loss to our country. And his short time in office was also a loss to our country. I'm pretty sure that if he was allowed to live longer, he could have achieved much more than the great triumph that he was able to accomplish in his short time frame, his short 11 months in office. He was able to help unions and to stop the makers of core beer who weren't supportive of gay rights and legislation. And that's my presentation on the Harvey Milk. And some of the people who I have done my presentation in front of are here. Yes, this odd bunch are my people.